Tim Linder here. Let's talk about the character and paragraph panel inside of Photoshop. So if I get some type with the type tool and I click and drag, I get some paragraph type, right? I want to say I want to increase the size of that a little bit. I can make a lot of adjustments right up here from the top inside of my tool options bar, but I could also click on this little icon, or I could go to window and choose character, and I could bring open the character panel. Okay, so here's my character panel. And another one thing I might want to do is with my character panel, I get other options in here that I wouldn't necessarily have in just my straightaway options for the tool. So in my character panel over here, I have some of the same options, and they change similarly up here as they do down there. So if I change this from Helvetica to Helvetica Bold, notice it's changing up here. If I change the size over here, it's also going to change up here, right? So those options are linked. But there are some other options in here, like tracking the space between letters, or leading the space between lines, that I could make adjustments to. You'll also notice that I'm selecting I'm going to undo this a couple times here, and I'm going to back out of it. I'm going to actually, you know what, I'm just going to delete this layer and grab a new layer here. I'm going to go back in and reset this panel, because wherever I left it is the way that it's going to be. So if I really went wacky with my tracking and leading, that's all going to be kind of all over the place the next time I go in there. So just like in the character and paragraph panel, you can click on this little flyout menu and kind of reset those back to 0 and auto and those sort of things if you've done some crazy things. So if I create some lorem ipsum type here, and let's say I'm going to create another layer, another type layer. I'm going to click on my move tool and click out here, so that when I go back to my type layer, I'm going to get another type layer here, and I'm going to type in, just the word title. Okay, so I'm going to name this, or make this red, and I'm going to make this a little bit larger. Okay, so I've got this title. So if I wanted to make changes overarchingly through several type layers, I could select them and scale them together. With my move tool, I have this little checkbox check, so I'm able to move them together. But also, if I've got two of them together, notice I've got a color of a question mark here. If I were to change, if I were to accept that transformation and then click on my color here, I can make a color change, and notice it adopts to both of those layers, or multiple layers. If I wanted to hold command and select non-contiguous layers, or shift and select several layers, I could go in here and make a change overarchingly to all of them. So it's making adjustments to all my layers. Now, if I select just one layer, obviously I can go in here and I could double click and get a word, or quadruple click or triple click and get a line, or quadruple click and get the whole paragraph, or quintuple click and get everything within this box if I want to, or I could Command A and select all and get everything in that box, or just select a specific few set of words I want to and make adjustments like, oh, I'm going to change the baseline where that sits on that baseline of typography. Or if I wanted to go in and choose the horizontal or vertical scale, or click in here and just choose that I wanted to adjust the kerning or something like that, the space just between those two letters, I could do that sort of thing. I could also come in and select, let's say, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste, and then paste again. So I've got a couple of different paragraphs. If I have my cursor within a paragraph, I can go over to my paragraph panel and adjust things like the indentation of that paragraph. I could also select an entire paragraph and do a similar sort of thing. But as long as my cursor is within that paragraph and I make some sort of adjustment, the whole paragraph works according to wherever that cursor, or where that cursor was in each paragraph. So if I wanted to do things like, indent the first line or whatever it might be, I can do those options, or create those options, including any sort of alignment that I want, left align, right align, those sort of things within that paragraph. Or if I didn't have anything selected and I just had the entire box selected without my cursor in any individual place, I could everything within that box, or everything within the layers, will adjust accordingly. So that would be the character and paragraph panels within Photoshop.